want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you.
So thank you very much. I love the way it is all working out beautifully. And I want to turn it over to Alex Richardson, our practitioner of the day, who is going to open us up in prayer.
Good morning. So this morning, I have an affirmation I want to start off with. When I say I am, it's like you saying I am. So I am so grateful for the joyful enthusiasm permeating my life. I greet each day with gratitude. I know there's just one of us here as we pray. And I know there is one God, one higher vision, and I know we are all one. Our Rev's talk today, stepping out and stepping up. I bless you all on the rainy day, sending us the needed rain. I am so grateful for the joyful enthusiasm permeating everywhere. I welcome you all today to today's service. And so it is.
And so it is.
So today, I want to tell you about the church's new woman. That's what I call her, new woman. Our friend Julie. She's a friend of Nina's, and she has been joining us on New Nuggets. And she did a 2-hour stint at the church. Oh, go figure that. Somebody helping. Even helping us clean up, and gave us a donation also at the end of our cleaning day. So this is her story. I was born in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I moved to San Francisco when I was a baby with my mom. My father was in World War II. My mom and dad were separated before I bonded with my dad. That's another story. I had a Catholic education. I got married and had 3 beautiful children. I worked for various labor unions for over 30 years in the Human Resource Department. I am a divorcee. I have 12 children and 6 great grandchildren. 5 grandchildren live out of state, and 7 live in Northern California. I like to relax and spend time with people. I also like to take road trips, day trips, and I love my children. I like art, yoga, and used to like biking and skating. I just joined FCRSV, that's our church, with the group on New Nuggets in October 2020. So now I turn this over to Joanne.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Well, first of all, I want to say a big thanks to Alex for presenting the bios of our women in church to commemorate Women's History Month. It's been very interesting to hear what all our fabulous women have been up to in their lives. and in some cases a bit surprising. But now you're going to hear all about Alex. I'm going to tell you her bio. When I started to prepare her bio, a phrase came to my mind: saving the best for last. But before I give you the information Alex gave to me to give to you, I want to say a few words about her myself. We all know Alex as our church practitioner, but she is much more than that. She is the glue that holds and has held this church together. This church has gone through many changes in the last 20 years since Alex joined in 2000, but one constant has been Alex, being of service in many ways to the church. She is currently president of the Board of Trustees and has done so before, serving for several years. She has taken on many roles in the church besides president and practitioner: leading the Divas, teaching youth church, leading Wednesday night meditation, teaching classes, preparing Sunday flowers, cooking for the second Sunday and for other church functions, and the list goes on. Somehow Alex always seems to step up to the plate. Currently, she is heading up the church cleanup efforts and the reopening committee. So Alex, thank you for all you do. Now to tell you about Alex from the bio information that she sent to me. Alex was born in Petaluma and was raised in Vallejo, where she attended Vallejo High School. There she was a pom-pom girl, I can imagine that, and was the first one of her group to join the Northern Bay League of Pom-Pom Girls. She married a young man from the Maritime Academy, and they raised their 3 children in Mill Valley. And I'm going to editorialize a little bit right here. Her 3 children, Paul, Susan, Stacy, are all fabulous human beings, successful, and they are devoted to their mom. And there's a bonus. They've given her 5 grandchildren and 2 great-grandkids. I think her children are one of Alex's greatest achievements. Now to name a few other of Alex's achievements. As life would happen, Alex became a single mom. She became an activity director for the elderly and worked in various facilities for 25 years. At 50 years old, Alex went back to school and received 2 degrees in early childhood education and social services. From there, she became a teacher at Head Start and eventually became area supervisor for 6 schools. She has spent time as a professional house cleaner, had a daycare in her home, and probably there are many other roles Alex has taken on that she did not mention to me. She has been a busy girl. Alex has not stopped either for now. Currently, she has 3 elderly clients with dementia that she looks after, so the spouses and caretakers can take a little time off. The business name is Forgetful Friends. So you can see that Alex has spent most of her life in loving service to others. It's no wonder that she continues to be of service to us here at First Church. Thanks again, Alex.
Wow. Thank you. That's very difficult to hear things about yourself, but I will continue with meditation anyway. Thank you, Joanne. That was so nicely, interestingly done. Thank you. So I will ring the chimes. Woo, ring my chimes. And then I'll ring the chimes at the end of our 3-minute meditation. So blessings to each of you. And just think of the rain and the love that you have in your heart. Wow, that didn't ring. There we go. So I leave you today with the affirmation I started with. I am so grateful for the joyful enthusiasm permeating my life. I greet each day with gratitude. Namaste.
Thank you, Alex, for leading us that beautiful meditation. And thank you, Joanne, for sharing a little of the bio information on our wonderful Alex. Alex, I am so appreciative of all that you do. And I love the fact that Joanne said, you're the glue. You certainly are.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you. So now I want to share a little bit of music, and then we will go into the talk. Except I lost my thing again. All right. Still challenged with the second music thing. I thought I had it solved, but you know what? We just go and roll with the punches. So let me just share with you all my opening talk. I am going to be talking today about stepping out and stepping up. So can you believe it? This is the last Sunday of April. I can't believe that. 4 months already. This year is moving so fast. And in keeping with the suggested title for the month is Stepping into the Unknown. And we know that each day we step into the unknown when we greet life full out. And it's about also stepping out and stepping up. And when I kept thinking about that during the week, that there was a song, I was sure there was a song that had to do with stepping out. It was running around in my head. So I checked it out, and for sure, it was a song by Joe Jackson back in 1982, which was called Steppin' Out. And it was popular, so popular that it rose to the 4th or the 5th, depending on which chart you have. And I looked at the lyrics, and I understand now why I was drawn to that. Spirit led me, and I went. Because in the second verse, the lyrics are, we are tired of all the darkness in our lives. With no more angry words to say can come alive. Get into a car and drive to the other side. Into the night, into the light. Now, Joe was writing and singing about the lights and the views of New York City. But don't you see how he could have been singing about how tired we are of living under the spell of a pandemic? How we want to step into the light? Okay, well, maybe not you. Maybe just me. But not all the time. And I bet I'm not alone. But some of the time, we just want it to be over. When yet we know that we are going to continue our journey. And we embrace change with curiosity. And we are in the midst of change right now as we navigate a new path with practical spirituality. That's what we're going to talk about today, practical spirituality. So we gratefully step out of what has been, and we confidently step up and into our greatness, excited to blaze a new trail of spiritual awareness. So what have we learned thus far on our life's journey? And what gifts are we bringing to this new leg of our journey? What will we share with those who travel with us? Our spiritual principles that we emphasize today is a creative process. The Science of Mind text says, enlightenment, the one infinite reality is what the Science of Mind is talking about. And it operates through the universal law of cause and effect. This universal law is impersonal, Ernest Holmes wrote. It's automatic and it's intelligent. The universal law receives a direct impress of spirit's impulse and acts upon it, bringing it into form. Individuals having the same threefold nature use that creative process to shape our human experience in alignment with the whole, perfect, and complete reality. Now, if I lost you in part of that, it's not unusual for many new students, because what that means in everyday language, if I can be so bold as to try to interpret Ernest Holmes, our founder, there is one creative force in the universe and our world. And that source created us. And we are one with that source. We're not separate from this creative source. That we as individuals have that same power, and we can use that creative process and that power to create the life we desire. And that power is universally available to everyone. So don't play small. Step out. Know that you are one with this divine source that created everything. And in Science of Mind, we also teach the inherent quality of God, which is freedom, which we also share. And freedom is that birthright of every individual. And we are free to choose and create our experience of life. Do you understand that? We are free to choose and create our experience of life. So that leads into that next part that so many people ascribe to Ernest Holmes, which he said, change your thinking, change your life. So if you don't like the life you've got going right now, change your thinking, because what we know in New Thought, particularly in religious sciences, our thoughts manifest. And sometimes that change your thinking, change your life, that can be frightening to some people. And in Science of Mind, we don't deny that a condition exists. We deny that it has to continue. And yet we can stay comfortable in our discontent rather than risk stepping out and being that which we are called here to be. We can stay in that place. Or each of us has that unique purpose, and we can step out to be that person on the planet that is unique and can fulfill the role we came here to be. So if you choose to ignore that, not only are you missing out, but the world is missing out for what you have to bring. Each one of us are important. So my first thing I want to really talk about, how this plays into today's talk about spiritual principles and stepping up, is enlightenment. And Thich Nhat Hanh, it's a favorite author, I believe, of Alex. And what he wrote about enlightenment, he said, enlightenment for a wave in the ocean is the moment the wave realizes it is water. When we realize we are not separate, but a part of the huge ocean of everything, we become enlightened. We realize that through practice, and we remain awake and aware of this through practice. Or I can make it simpler and say, my favorite Sufi mystic Rumi would say, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. So as we step out of that comfort zone and we step up on our spiritual awakening, it's good to remember that we're some part of something that's bigger than ourselves. I think what happens to a lot of folks is they think that becoming enlightened, they will magically change and everything will be different. And that may be true, and there may be another way to look at it. So let me share a story that I shared with our New Nuggets group, which is a group that meets Monday through Friday. And it's a story that comes from a Joyous Living Journal by Petrus Weldes and Christian Sorensen. And it was written for the days of April 23rd underneath the heading, What Now? It's a story of a monk who had been preparing for enlightenment for many years. And having not achieved it, asked his master for permission to go to the mountaintop and achieve enlightenment or die trying. On the way up, the monk met an old man coming down with a bundle on his back. When the young monk asked if he knew anything about enlightenment, the sage dropped his bundle to the ground. And in that instant, the young monk understood. He said, "It's that simple. Just let go of everything you have been holding on to." The sage replied, "But it's not always that easy to let go of what you've attached your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs to." So isn't that interesting? All we have to really do is let go. And yet it's difficult for us because we don't quite trust. We want to hang on. But I asked the group, and I ask you now to even consider, how would you approach your life differently if you knew you were already enlightened? So one of my favorite books early on in my quest for spiritual knowledge and elusive enlightenment that I was trying to achieve was a book written by Rex Whaler in 1984, Chop Wood and Carry Water. You may have heard of it, or you may even have read it. It certainly had an impact on my spiritual development. And the title comes from a Zen koan. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So a koan is a short story used in a Zen practice that's traditionally used by the Zen teachers to test the progress of a student to see if they understand. And there are various interpretations, and you can draw your own on what that koan means, but some of these are more common. The novice says to the master, "What does one do before enlightenment?" "Chop wood, carry water," says the master. The novice asks, "What then does one do after enlightenment?" "Chop wood, carry water." So another thing that I checked out online that I love is that there was an abbot was once counseling an impatient monk. And I think we're all impatient when we think that we want to have enlightenment and we don't have it. We want it now. We're the microwave generation. Anyway, this novice monk was so tired because all he seemed to be doing was chopping wood, carrying water, and delivering meals to the other monks, when really he wanted to study and learn about enlightenment. So he was asking the abbot what he should do. And the abbot said, "I used to be just like you. I wanted enlightenment, and yet my role was to chop wood, carry water, and serve the other monks." And he said, as I came up and I grew and I expanded my awareness, he said, "Now I understand that the key to everything is that everything is chopping wood and carrying water. And that if one does everything mindfully, then it is all the same." And a Buddhist capsulated this, who said, "My daily activities are not unusual. I'm just naturally in harmony with them." So what is it that we can understand about that koan? That we are the same before enlightenment, our responsibilities, what we do in life, but how we approach them after enlightenment has changed. It's shifted. It's shifted our consciousness. It's shifted how we react to our daily living. And so with enlightenment, it appears that nothing has changed on the outside, which is really about doing, and everything has changed on the inside, which is about being. So on the surface, the visible external actions of chopping wood and carrying water are the same before and after enlightenment. The deeper, invisible, and internal process is your presence, your awareness, your perception, your mindset has changed. Your body may be busy, but your mind is still. You are present instead of preoccupied. The being Eckhart Tolle wrote in A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. He wrote down, doing is never enough if you neglect being. The ego knows nothing of being, but believes you will eventually be saved by doing. If you are in the grip of the ego, you believe that by doing more and more, you will eventually accumulate enough doings to make yourself feel complete at some point in the future. You won't. You will only lose yourself in doing. The entire civilization is losing itself in doing that is not rooted in being, and that becomes futile. So since enlightenment is a state and not a destination, that means we all still have to go on living even after attaining enlightenment. The goal then is to have your doing rooted in being, to create an awakened doing. And that means an awakened doing is the alignment of our outer purpose, what you do, with your inner purpose, which is the awakening and staying awake. My second point that supports this is talking about Deborah Johnson, religious science practitioner, was writing in the April Science of Mind personal affirmation page about the journey, and I loved it. She wrote, the divine unknown says there is something more to be known. We are lifelong students on a journey into the divine. Let us be grateful for its continual unfolding for our highest good. Isn't that great? So as we begin this journey, we step out into the unknown. What will we bring with us? What are we willing to leave behind? We have been cast to play this part since our first breath. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, every man is a doorway through which infinite passes into the finite, through which God becomes man, through which the universal becomes individual. Our soul has been continually calling to us to be brave. Step up, regardless of what others say or think. This is your time. Ask yourself, if I was living my life fully, what would I be doing? And then do it. Marianne Williamson encourages us with her writing, each of us has a unique part to play in the healing of the world. Now is the time. If not you, who? And in the Science of Mind daily guides, many of you know that I love this. I read these daily guides every day. And last week, there was one written, the daily guides this month are written by Reverend Karen Wiley. And she wrote, you can make the choice today to create the life of your dreams. But she says the first step is to believe it's possible. I know people who want to make a change to create the life, and they say, yes, I understand that, but they don't quite believe it. So the first step is to believe it's possible. That means you've got to dissolve a lifetime of false ideas and beliefs. You have to remove those mental blocks that stand between you and your divine destiny. And Karen goes on to say, what a relief it is to let go of that mental striving. We are constantly pinching off our good. The good we seek has been here and available all the time, but our ego stands in the way. You're here to develop a real relationship with a love intelligence that governs the universe. Two of my daily reminders that I try to live by this year, I set it as an intention at the beginning of the year, was non-resistance and non-attachment. And when I was reading something from Eckhart Tolle, he has three, which I love also. And they include two of mine: non-resistance, non-attachment, and non-judgment. I love that third aspect, and I've now added it to my daily guides. I approach life with non-resistance, non-judgment, and non-attachment. But that's those three aspects of true freedom, enlightened living. It frees us up to live and create from our authentic self while we're practicing living by our spiritual principles. So what is that, the spiritual principles that I'm talking about? What I'm talking about is the Science of Mind teachings, which are a perfect roadmap for our spiritual, our emotional, our physical, and our financial awakening. We're an integral part of that creative process. Every person has a story they can tell about how these teachings have changed their life. And now is the time to share your good. Be strong in your conviction and stronger in your faith. The world needs you. Step out of your comfort zone and step up into what you have come here to be. Science of Mind has been a game changer in living life for me. I had been studying metaphysics, native Indian spirituality, Buddhism, Hinduism, and some New Thought teaching before stumbling into PCRS, which is the Pacific Church of Religious Science in San Diego, 25 years ago. I was walking in a group of guys who got together a couple times a week to walk around the park in San Diego for exercise. And this guy started talking about this church he went to and what they believed in. And I was sort of gobsmacked as to what he was saying because it was what I believed. But I thought I was unique. I thought I was the ugly duckling of spirituality because I thought I had collected all these things from all these various sources and melded them into one, and I didn't think anybody believed along the same lines. But here was somebody speaking my language. Now, I had trouble finding that church for a few Sundays. I think it's true that religious science churches and their locations are still the best kept secret in many locations. So the Sunday I finally found it and I arrived and I sat in the fourth row. I heard this minister speaking from the platform, and it was like God was speaking through her to me. I was hooked. There was a spiritual growth workshop after the service, and I went. I was even more hooked. I became the class and workshop junkie, absorbing everything I could about this teaching. It wasn't long, maybe 2 years, and I had taken every foundational course I needed to enroll in practitioner studies, which I completed in 2 more years. I was so excited to be helping others find practical solutions to everyday living, just like the people who had helped me. And that was my role as a practitioner. And it wasn't long before the light was burning inside of me, calling me to ministry so I could reach and teach all of these wonderful principles to even more people. I have been in religious 25 years, a practitioner 20 years, a minister for 15 years, and as my son says, I am the happiest he has ever seen me. So if you remember nothing else that I've said today, if you just remember these 3 quotes which I have used, you will have a roadmap to live the life for your highest good. Ernest Holmes was onto something when he said, change your thinking, change your life. And Joseph Campbell reminds us that we must be willing to let go of the life we had planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. And Eckhart Tolle says, non-resistance, non-judgment, and non-attachment are the 3 aspects of true freedom, enlightened living. So in conclusion, let me use the acronym for BRAVING that shows up in Brené Brown's book, Braving the Wilderness. BRAVING, she says, the B stands for boundaries, which are set, hold, and respect boundaries. R is for reliability, learning to say what you mean and mean what you say. A is for accountability. Step up, be accountable, take responsibility, and issue meaningful apologies when you're wrong. V is for vault. Keep confidences. Recognizes what is ours to share and what's not. I is for integrity. Practice your values even when difficult and hard. N is for judgment, non-judgment. Give and receive help. G is for generosity. Learn how to be generous in our assumptions about others. So are you willing to step out and step up in your magnificent, remembering braving is the way to do? So what are you willing to change, shift, or let go of to begin living on your life's purpose? This week, I invite you to practice by intentionally manifesting. It's a little homework assignment if you want. Practice by intentionally manifesting. That is, you consciously produce a definite outcome by using science of mind principles to bring about a greater good, a more abundant life, a better condition than existed before with you. This practice invites us to exercise our freedom to create the life we desire. Namaste. Thank you. And so let me give you an affirmation, which is short, and you might remember, but I'll give it to you twice. I confidently step up and into my greatness. You can say it with me. I confidently step up and into my greatness. So now let's pray. Oh, wow. Just going within and just breathing in. And when I breathe in, I know that it is the breath of the divine that breathes me. For I know that there is only one life. It is God's life. It is my life now. And I know the same truth for each and every one here. So I know that just as the rain nurtures the land today, we are nurtured by remembering our spiritual principles, and we practice them to enrich our lives and to call in our highest good. So we say yes. We say yes to practice, to step up and step out. We let go of our resistance. We bring in that new awareness of the divine in our life. We are who we have been waiting for. We step up into more enlightenment, and we still remember that we still do those things that contribute to our daily living, but we do it from a new mindfulness. So there is great love and hope as we move through the ending days of this pandemic. We still believe in the science, and we still practice social distancing and good mask wearing, and we will move through this pandemic into the light. And I know that each of us are held in safety and love, and I give great thanks for that. And I know that this day was created for each and every one of us in our own unique way, for we have a part in the creative process. And so I give great thanks for whatever is awakening within you. I give great thanks for I know that it's already done in the mind of God, already done in the universe. And law always says yes. So it is this grateful heart that I just release, I let go, and I let God. And so it is. I have some announcements to make before I open up the room. The first thing is about birthdays. I would like to encourage anybody who has a birthday in May to send me their birth date, not the year, just the month and the day for May, or actually any month will do, because I'll keep a record of it, because I published that in the Constant Contact, and we'll celebrate you for May. And Alex is still doing the cleanup, and she is at the church today from 2 to 4, Monday and Tuesday. So don't let her be alone. Show up and help get the church ready, because we don't know exactly when we're going to be able to reopen. We're developing a plan. We do need volunteers. We cannot do it with just the board, and we need some volunteers. So if you're really interested, let Alex know, namaste from alex@gmail.com, that you're available, and she can talk to you about what roles are needed. And then the Art of Abundance class, we had our first meeting last Monday. We have a second meeting come up. If you have already got the book, if you've already done some of the reading and you want to join on this Monday, send me a note. It's not too late if you're willing to have done a little bit of work and come prepared. And then the last thing I have to share is our request for contributions. And so let me bring up a screen share of our favorite church. And I say that, and I do not have it. So, you know the church. And so what I would like to encourage you to do to support us so we're available to pay our monthly bills and be ready to open is please send a check to First Church of Religious Science at 229 Springs Road, Vallejo, or go to our webpage and use PayPal to make your contribution. And we are so appreciative as we still have many of our congregants are still contributing on a monthly basis, but we could have a few more of you who have been a little hesitant, and I encourage you to support us. And so I want to thank you very much, and I want to open the room, so please unmute everybody, and I'm going to end the Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, please join us, and I'm going to end the recording.